In 1973, an article was published by Mr. Marquardt describing the strange marriages of Sarah Ann Whitney. And this was shot across the Mormon historical scene about 1973, revised in 82. And H. Michael Marquardt pulls out of, it appears, thin air, 3 documents that nobody had ever seen or mentioned before. It had never been referenced in any historical documents. And that is 3 documents that appears to support the now historical belief that Sarah Ann Whitney married Joseph Smith, or was sealed to him in a plural marriage, in July of 1842. That is 1 year before his D&C revelation, and these 3 documents appear on their face to be very dodgy. Very dodgy. And the fact that this was pulled out of the ether in 1973 with no historical context appears to make these documents more likely than not authentic. And these 3 documents happen to be a letter written by Joseph Smith to the Whitneys to bring Sarah Ann Whitney for a private visit while he is in hiding outside of Nauvoo during the warrant that was issued by Governor Boggs for the attempted assassination by Joseph Smith against Governor Boggs. Then 2 documents that state that Joseph Smith appeared in the red brick store with the Whitneys as witnesses, and the Whitneys consented to have their 17-year-old daughter marry Joseph Smith in the new secret ritual called the religious ritual of sealing. And this 3rd document documents the actual ritual. These 3 documents are going to be the subject of this video tonight, and I'm going to show you why these documents more than likely are inauthentic and appear to be forgeries. And it's going to concern this letter to Newell K. Elizabeth Ann Smith and Sarah Ann Whitney, dated August 18th of 1842. And here's the revelation giving the sealing of the marriage that was purported to have occurred between Sarah Ann Whitney and Joseph Smith, consented to and witnessed by her parents, Newell K. Whitney and Elizabeth Whitney, on July 27, 1842. And here is the 3rd document done on March 1843, in which a deed is transferring land to Sarah Whitney from Joseph Smith, which means that Sarah Whitney got paid to marry Joseph Smith. That is what people are implying. So in analyzing whether the documents are authentic, one uses the rules of evidence, which include review of the historical context out of which the document arose, 2, the writing style, which is more than just the handwriting evaluation, which is more than simply looking at whether the handwriting matches the handwriting of the author, but whether the style, the voice, the context of the entire letter matches that which we would expect the author to write like. So during this period of time, 1, Joseph Smith was on the run, staying in Iowa, staying at friends' homes in Illinois. He was in the constant company of his attorney, his legal counsel, Mr. Brother Durfee, who was a scribe, and Emma and Hiram Smith, all visited constantly with Joseph Smith during a 2-week period of time which he was on the run. The only date which is left blank in Joseph Smith's journal is the 18th, the day that Joseph Smith stayed 1 day at Mr. Granger's house, a non-member outside of Nauvoo. And this just happens to be the day that the supposed or purported letter was authored by Joseph Smith. However, even though it is claimed that the handwriting appears the same, the writing style, the pattern on which Joseph Smith expresses himself is completely foreign to the many letters that Joseph Smith wrote during this period of time, showing a plain spoken, direct way of writing. So we're going to look at what is required for a court, pursuant to the rules of evidence, would require to admit a document as more probable than not as being authentic. Well, these 3 documents fail miserably. Now let's listen to the somewhat salacious letter purported to have been written by Joseph Smith to the Whitney, begging them to come because he's so lonely and he wants to have a tryst with etc. and etc. etc., which according to the general consensus, etc. means Sarah Whitney, even though I don't see how etc. means Sarah and Whitney. I mean, Joseph Kingsbury was living with the Whitneys at the time, and etc. could also imply that he wants to see Mr. Joseph Kingsbury. Also, this letter goes out to the Whitney's on August 17th. Well, Joseph Smith returns and lives at his home on the 19th. Why did he need the Whitneys to come out there on the 18th when he could have just said, hey, how you doing, when he went into town the next day and stayed at his house until basically he had the trial in Springville in January of 1843. Obviously working out a deal with Governor Carlin to provide Joseph Smith's safety until the trial could begin in January of 1843. This letter appears on its face, based on its language, based on the context and timing, to be completely inauthentic. So let's listen to someone read it who has a much better grasp at the sonorous actings and techniques than I do.
The next month, while he was in hiding to escape extradition charges, Smith wrote a letter pleading for Newell, Elizabeth, and Sarah to come visit him at his secret hideout. And so he wrote in the letter, "The only thing to be careful of," Smith cautioned, "is to find out when Emma comes, because it cannot be safe if she were present. Clandestine relationships during tense situations required secret rendezvous. Dear and beloved brother Newell K. Whitney and sister Elizabeth Whitney and etc." And everybody agrees, both critics and defenders, that the etc. is Sarah Ann Whitney. And you get that from the context of when this letter was written as well as the contents of the letter. "I take this opportunity to communicate some of my feelings privately at this time, which I want you three eternally to keep in your own bosoms. For my feelings are so strong for you since what has passed lately between us, that the time of my absence from you seems so long and dreary that it seems as if I could not live long in this way. And if you three would come and see me in this my lonely retreat, it would afford me great relief of mind. If those with whom I am allied do love me, now is the time to afford me succor in the days of exile, for you know I foretold you all of these things. I'm now at Carlos Granger's, just back of Brother Hiram's farm. It's only 1 mile from town. The nights are very pleasant indeed. All three of you can come and see me in the forepart of the night. Brother Whitney, come a little ahead and knock at the east corner of the house at the window. It's next to the cornfield. I have the room entirely by myself. The whole matter can be attended to with the most perfect safety. I know it is the will of God you should comfort me now in this time of confliction. All now is we're going to go to the next page, is the time or never. But I have no need of saying any such thing to you, for I know the goodness of your hearts, and that you will do the will of the Lord when it is made known to you. The only thing to be careful of is to find out when Emma comes. Then you cannot be safe. But when she's not here, there is the most perfect safety. Only be careful to escape observation as much as possible. I know it is a heroic undertaking, but so much the greater friendship and the more joy. When I see you, I will tell you all my plans. I cannot write them on paper. Burn this letter as soon as you read it.
Are you
Keep it all locked up in your
mustache as you're reading this, Jonathan?
I'm sorry. It's just